नमस्ते दोस्तों, वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल कॉल एवरी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग। दोस्तों, आज का लेक्चर शुरू करने से पहले मैं आप सभी को ये रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा कि प्लीज़ डोंट फॉरगेट टू लाइक माय वीडियो, सब्सक्राइब माय वीडियो एंड शेयर इन योर वैल्यूबल नेटवर्क. Doing this, it will help me in bringing such more videos and it will help in growing my channel rapidly. So let's start today's lecture. So the today's lecture will be on subclause 7.6, which is the control of the monitoring and measuring equipment of an ISO 13485-2016. The organization shall determine the monitoring and measurement to be undertaken and the monitoring and measuring equipment needed to provide evidence of conformity of product to determine the requirement. So दोस्तों, any of the organization या जो भी कोई manufacturer है, they need to understand and they need to determine that the monitoring and measurement whatever is going to conduct for their product, they need to comply with the conformance requirement of a product, right? So whatever the product have the end functionality, so this monitoring and measuring equipment should be able to make up to that level, like they should be capable enough to diagnose. Namaste dosto, welcome to my YouTube channel called Everyday Manufacturing. So today we are going to discuss on a topic called control of monitoring and measuring equipment, which is 7.6 clause of an ISO 13485-2016. So let's begin today's lecture. The organization shall determine that the monitoring and measurement to be undertaken and the monitoring and measuring equipment needed to provide evidence of conformity of product to determine the requirement. So ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को ये जानना बहुत ज़रूरी है कि उनका जो प्रोडक्ट है, उनका जो मेडिकल डिवाइस जो प्रोडक्ट है, related to product, whatever the processes which they have set upon in terms of monitoring and measurement, so the equipment which is going to fulfill this requirement, they need to comply with the product conformance. I mean, they should be properly calibrated, they should be properly qualified before we start using it for our product conformance, right? I hope this is clear. The organization shall document the procedure to ensure that the monitoring and measurement can be carried out and are carried out in a manner that is consistent with the monitoring and measuring requirements. Yes, there should be a procedure in place which will ensure that whatever we conduct the monitoring and measurement via using an equipment shall comply with the given standard requirements as necessary to ensure valid result measuring equipment shall. So what does it means? In order to ensure that whatever the results which is coming out via using this equipment shall comply with the following requirement. So what are those requirements? Let's go one by one. So the measuring equipment needs to be properly calibrated, verified, or both at the specified intervals or prior to use against measurement standard traceable to the international or the national measurement standard. When no such standard exists, the basis used for the calibration or verification shall be recorded, my friends. So what does it mean? It means whatever the measuring equipment which I am going to use, it should be properly calibrated. You must be knowing there is a calibration agency, that is a third party agency which is approved by an NABL. So you need to get your equipment been done, calibrated and verified over there at a defined interval. So it depends upon the criticality of the equipment, whether this equipment needs to undergo twice a calibration, like in a year 2 times calibration, in a year 3 times calibration, or a monthly calibration or a weekly calibration. It totally depends upon the criticality of the equipment, how much you are using on the basis of risk mapping. Plus the calibration agency who is going to do the calibration, they should be accredited by an international or national standards such as the NABL and all those stuffs. Be adjusted or readjusted as necessary. Such adjustment or readjustment shall be recorded. So if your measuring equipment needs to be adjusted or readjusted based on any requirement, they need to be re-undergo a proper calibration mechanism procedure. C. have identification in order to determine its calibration status. So if my any measuring equipment is lying in any of the area, it should be having a proper labeling information. When I say labeling, it means it should bear a calibration label or a equipment identification label or a qualification label. Like they should be properly able to determine what is the calibration status. Is it complying or not? Like done date, due date, all those stuffs. D. Be safeguarded from the adjustment that would invalidate the measurement result. So this equipment needs to have a dual mechanism check in order to ensure that the result what have been coming out from the processes, they should be properly validated or the invalidate, all those stuff. E. Be protected from damage and deterioration during handling, maintenance and storage. So the equipment should be protected from the damage or the deterioration occurring due to the handling processes or while doing a maintenance activity and in respective storage. The organization shall perform the calibration or verification in accordance with the documented procedures. Right? So this is very simple to understand. In addition, the organization also need to assess and record the validity of previous measuring result when the equipment is found not to conform to the requirements. The organization thus shall take the appropriate action in regard to the equipment and any product affected. So based on the calibration result, let's say if the equipment is not complying a given range as per their specs, hence the organization need to take an action whether to troubleshoot that equipment or whether to replace that equipment or whether to get a new equipment in place, for example, right? The record of the result of the calibration and verification shall be maintained. The organization shall have a document procedure in place for the validation of application of computer software used for the monitoring and measurement of the requirement. Let's say we have a deep freezer, refrigerator, humidity chamber installed across our facility, right? And we have inbuilt system of taking a data at a particular frequency interval of time. Let's say temperature data or the RH data. So what I'll be doing, I'll be having one room, one substation from where I'm going to pull all my LAN connection to the respective equipment. So there is one software which is called as 21 CFR, all those kind of software. So this software should comply with the 21 CFR requirement and which should be properly calibrated in order to get the right data, right? So this is like what I mean to say. Such software application shall be validated prior to initial use and as appropriate after changes to such software or its application. This specific approach and the activity associated with software validation and the revalidation shall be proportionate to the risk associated with the use of this software, including the effect on the ability of the product to confirm this specification. Record of result and conclusion of validation and necessary action from the validation shall be maintained. So I hope you must have understood my today's lecture. Please don't forget to like my video, comment on my video, subscribe and don't forget to share it in your network. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.